explain the movie Be With You, released in the year 2018. The movie revolves around a middle school boy named Jung Ji-ho, who lives with his widower father, Woo Jin. 1 year ago, Woo Jin's wife Soo-ah passed away, but not before making an unbelievable promise to return 1 year later through a penguin picture book that she made for Ji-ho. Woo Jin wakes up every day early in the morning and rides his bicycle to work. He works at an indoor swimming pool. After cleaning the pool, Woo Jin rushes back home before dawn to prepare breakfast and send his son to school. Even after 1 year, Woo Jin is still not used to cooking and looking after his son, who is very bright and inquisitive. Baby Ji-ho is excited about the upcoming rainy season, as his mother promised to return after it starts to rain in Korea in the picture book. Woo Jin has told him many times that his mother won't return, but the baby chooses to be optimistic. Woo Jin also isn't in good health and he regularly takes medicine. As a result, he feels weak and tired all the time. After school, Ji-ho's uncle and Woo Jin's high school buddy Hong-gu, who runs a bakery, babysits him. At work, a woman named Hyun-jung has a crush on Woo Jin, but he is too blind to see it. Meanwhile, Woo Jin's boss Choi likes Hyun-jung, but she doesn't give him any attention, and out of spite, Choi makes Woo Jin work harder and longer. One day, baby Ji-ho arrives at his uncle's bakery looking sad. When Hong-gu asks him about it, the baby reveals that he wants to take part in his school's relay race, but he can't because a participant must run with their father, and Woo Jin can't run. Hong-gu offers to take the place of his father in the race and cheers the boy up. However, on the day of the race, to his dismay, Ji-ho is told that he can't run with his uncle. Seeing his son upset, Woo Jin steps forward to run with his son. Ji-ho is worried about his father, but he assures him that he will do just fine. The race begins and Woo Jin runs unusually fast, giving his son a lot of hope. However, as he gets closer to the finish line, Woo Jin blacks out and collapses on the ground, ending up not even finishing the race. Woo Jin feels that he embarrassed his son, but the baby tells him that he only cares that Woo Jin is okay. The next day, it finally begins to rain, much to Ji-ho's joy. He wakes his dad up and rushes to the railway station with him. However, when Soo-ah doesn't come, Woo Jin proceeds to carry his son back home, despite his protests. On his way back home, the father and son notice a woman sleeping under the tunnel. Baby Ji-ho is convinced that it's his mother, and he runs to her. It is his mother, but she doesn't recognize neither Ji-ho or Woo Jin. It seems the woman doesn't have a place to stay, and she doesn't remember anything about herself, so she decides to go home with Woo Jin and Ji-ho. Woo Jin is shocked by her reappearance, but he is also happy and under the belief that the woman really is his late wife. As the woman has no recollection of her past, she asks what she was doing under the tunnel, and Woo Jin lies to her that she returned home yesterday after being in a coma for 1 year, and they were playing hide and seek in the tunnel, so as to convince her to stay with them. Excited by her return, Woo Jin seems to have regained his lost energy and enthusiasm for life. Ji-ho is equally excited, and when Woo Jin leaves after dropping him at school, the boy covertly runs back home to spend the entire day with the woman who he thinks is his mother. The two play all day, and after Woo Jin returns home, she cooks lunch. It quickly becomes clear that the woman has never cooked a day in her life. She almost burns herself with hot oil, and Woo Jin steps in to her rescue, burning himself in the process. Later, after Ji-ho falls asleep, the woman asks him to get undressed, and Woo Jin proceeds to take his pants off, thinking she wants to sleep with him, but she reveals that she only wants to apply ointment on his burns. Awkward. While doing so, she asks him about her past and tells her that they first met in high school. They were polar opposite. Soo-ah was the top student in class, while Woo Jin was a swimming champ that always slept through his classes. Woo Jin had a major crush on her, and he tried to initiate conversation with her on many occasions, but he always ended up embarrassing himself. After several failed attempts, they didn't talk for 3 years until their last day in school, when Soo-ah asked Woo Jin to write an entry in her farewell diary. Afterwards, she went to a university in Seoul, while Soo-ah went to a nearby college for swimming. Soo-ah couldn't bring himself to call her until after his 2 years of mandatory military duty, when Hong-gu forced him to call her. The two finally met for dinner and had a really great time, after which they started writing letters to each other. Back in the present, Woojin keeps the news of Sua's return a secret, even from his best friend Honggu. However, Woojin isn't able to keep Honggu in the dark because one day he shows up at his home drunk and dressed in a penguin costume. Woojin tries his best to send his friend away, but he forces his way into his home and sees Sua. Honggu is stunned to see her and runs away, mistaking her for a ghost who was sent to punish him for setting Woojin on dates. After Honggu leaves, Woojin continues his story and reveals that as time progressed, the letters led to regular dates. The past also brings Sua and Woojin together as they become comfortable holding each other's hands. Back in the past, Woojin takes Sua to his favorite spot at the top of a hill overlooking a beautiful valley and a drive-in movie theater. One thing leads to another and the two start making out. In the present, Sua starts wearing her wedding ring and takes the complete responsibility of Woojin's wife and Jiho's mother. One day, she finds the picture book she made and gave to Jiho before her passing, in which she predicted her return. However, Sua is unaware about this, and in the story, the mother penguin returns to the Cloudland after the rainy season ends. Sua continues enjoying every moment with her family. The family goes on a picnic on the riverside and baby Jiho prays to God for more rain. After returning home, Woojin collapses and Sua learns that he is suffering from a brain disease. He sought treatment and pills, but the condition only got worse, and now whenever Woojin gets nervous or strains himself, he faints. Ever since then, Woojin's life and career came to an end. After this, he broke up with Sua without telling her about his condition. Woojin then spent a year trying to get over her, but without success. Eventually, he decided to see her one last time, and he traveled to Seoul by himself, despite knowing how dangerous it was. However, when he saw her with another guy, he returned back home without meeting her. Seeing her with another guy made him sad, but he was a little relieved because he felt that he was not good enough for her. They didn't talk to each other for several more weeks until one day, Woojin got a call from her, and Sua returned back into his life, promising to never leave his side. Soon after, Woojin proposed to her and she quit her grad school to marry him, despite her parents' disapproval. In no time, Jiho was also born. In the present, Sua asks if they can live happily ever after, and Woojin assures her that they will. The next day, the family watches TV while having breakfast. However, for some reason, when the weather forecast begins and the reporter starts talking about the unusually long rainy season, Woojin quickly turns off the TV, saying it is too loud. After Woojin and Jiho leave, Sua cleans the shed outside the home and comes across her old journal. While reading it, she initially seems happy, but the smile soon fades from her face. Later, Sua is seen reading Jiho's penguin picture book. It seems that after reading her journal, it has finally dawned on her that she must return before the clouds roll away. Afraid of leaving her son unprepared for the world, Sua spends the rest of her time teaching him how to do essential household chores. At night, she watches old home videos by herself with tears in her eyes. Unbeknownst to her, Woojin watches her from another room, and it is revealed that he too knows that she must return with the rain. In a bid to stop her from leaving, Woojin teams up with his friend Honggu and blocks the tunnel with logs. The next day, Woojin receives a call from one of Jiho's classmates' mother. The woman reveals that Jiho damaged her car. Woojin asks the boy why he did it, but he doesn't respond. Embarrassed, Woojin apologizes to her on her son's behalf and offers to pay for the damages. The woman declines the money but advises Woojin to take his son to a therapist to see if he is having emotional problems. On his way back home, the boy reveals that he washed his friend's dad's car because Jiho's friend said that whenever his car is washed, it rains. Jiho then breaks into tears and asks his dad if Sua is going to leave them again. Meanwhile, Sua goes to meet Hongju and asks him to bake a cake for Jiho's birthday. She then returns home with the cake and celebrates the baby's birthday with Woojin. The next day, Woojin's boss Choi passes out in the water after a lamp from the room lands on his head. Woojin is initially afraid, but he eventually jumps in the water to rescue Choi. Meanwhile, it has somewhat stopped raining and Jiho is nervously looking for his mother in the audience at his school function. She eventually comes and watches her son perform before leaving again. Later, the sky becomes clear. Afraid of losing Soo-ah forever, Ji-ho and Woo-ji rush to find her. Meanwhile, she's at the tunnel, and it's revealed that someone has already removed most of the wood blocking the tunnel. Ji-ho finds her going into the tunnel and tries to stop her, but she tells him that she must go. The baby apologizes to her because he overheard Soo-ah's relatives saying that she got sick because he was born. Soo-ah tells him that it's not true, and moreover, she wouldn't have known pure bliss if he didn't come into her life. Soo-ah promises to keep watching over him from the Cloudland. Meanwhile, Woo-jin collapses in the woods before he could reach the tunnel. The memory of Soo-ah telling him to look after Ji-ho flashes before him, and he musters all his strength to get up and go after her. As he reaches the tunnel, Soo-ah locks eyes with him and disappears. Some months pass by and Woo-jin is seemingly at peace. He is no longer afraid of swimming and racing. One day, he too comes across Soo-ah's journal, which she updated during her time with them. Through the journal, he learns that she liked him before he even knew who she was. He also learns that she ran after him when he came to see her in Seoul, but ended up meeting with an accident, and when she woke up, she found herself in the tunnel with Ji-ho and Woo-jin by her side. She had leapt 8 years into the future. It is also revealed that after they parted ways for the second time, she woke up in a hospital bed 8 years back in the past when she was still in her grad school. At first, she felt that she was dreaming, but soon she thought what she saw could turn into a reality, and she would die at the age of 32 if she marries Woo-jin and has Ji-ho. At first, she was scared, but she realized that even if she lives till 100 after marrying someone else, she wouldn't be happy. Therefore, she decided to return to Woo-jin's life. The journal ends with a promise from Ji-ho that she's coming to be with her family. That was all from the video. I hope you liked it. Subscribe for more content like this and hit the like button to help us out. Also, leave a comment if you want us to recap your favorite movie. Until next time, take care.
Let's go. Yeah. I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it. Fuse like a magnet, lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket.